I know you're miserable. I know we're ice fishing. You don't want to do it, but this is not my fault. People at home, I did not ask for this. The higher ups, they were like, wouldn't it be great if you guys did an ice fishing video? That's why we're out here. It's not my fault. Please don't blame me.
I'd rather put in Vindaloo contact lenses.
Welcome back, DPReview TV viewers. Chris Nichols here, joined by
Jordan Drake, thrilled as always.
You look excited. I know you're eager to do this. And we got a special video here for you today. We're out ice fishing, and this is kind of a traditional video at the end of the year where we talk about our predictions for what the major manufacturers are going to do in 2021. Just a bit of fun, bit of conjecture, you know.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to look at all the major camera manufacturers. In the past, we've done it nice and comfy by a fire, but yeah, we're going to ice fish today, and I would rather be using a boiling soup bidet.
Now, before we get started, I do also want to give a special thanks to our friend here, Jeff Valcourt, for getting us access here. We didn't have to drive an hour and a half way into the wilds to ice fish. We get to do it right in the middle of Calgary at Lake Chaparral. We'd also like to thank the Lake Chaparral Residents Association for making this possible. And why don't we get right into it? Let's start with Canon.
Sounds good.
I think Canon's definitely going to expand their RF line. Their mirrorless is doing well right now. Why not make some more affordable lenses?
Yeah, their whole Pro line is basically done.
Yeah.
So I want to see more cheap lenses like those RF 800, 600,
right.
The new 85, that kind of stuff. I think they'll flesh that out.
To go with that, Nikon Z5 is doing great in the entry-level price point. So I think Canon needs to make a new camera, an RP replacement. They might put the EOS R sensor in there, but I really hope it would get the R6 sensor. That would be amazing.
That's very optimistic, but we'll see. The other thing I'm really curious about is the M mount. I think this will kind of be the deciding year. The M50 Mark II was kind of an embarrassing upgrade. So if we see something major like a M5 Mark II or something like that, then I think we can say, yeah, they're going to keep the M mount going, bring out new lenses, things like that. If we don't, I think that's basically the end of the system. Yeah. It's going to be full frame only from Canon, I think.
Yeah. All right, it is time to talk about Pentax here, Jordan. And you know, this is a tough one. I mean, last year we did a prediction video. We actually recorded a Pentax spot and totally forgot to put it in the video. That was our mistake. But at the same time, it's not hard to kind of forget about Pentax. They have not been doing much. We got the K33 coming out.
We know it's coming. We know it has a silly name.
This is the tough thing with Pentax is like, is this going to be the year where they finally are just going to start scaling back? I don't think they're going to say, oh, we're done. But I mean,
last year they brought out a lens, I think. So they're already scaling back.
But officially, like maybe, I don't know, like will Ricoh come out with some more serious mirrorless cameras beyond their GR Street series? Maybe cannibalize Pentax and let the name go? I mean, it's so hard to know. I don't know.
The one thing I would really like to see, a lot of their recent lenses have been, basically modified and rebranded third-party glass.
Yes.
I'd like to see some that make sense. Like if you're bringing out a crop sensor camera, get a Sigma 1835 1.8 and the 50 to 100 1.8. Or like their real niche is astrophotography. Why not rebrand a Sigma 20 millimeter 1.4 or something like that? I think it would make a lot of sense.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I'm doubtful. I'm going to talk about Fuji because I think this is going to be their big video year. What was missing on the X-T4 kind of shows what I think we're going to see on an XH2 camera. Get things like the headphone jack on there, less overheating concerns, but I hope they take it another level and add things like assist tools, maybe a higher resolution viewfinder would be really nice to have. The other thing I really think we're going to see from them is that amazing GFX 100 sensor getting moved into a smaller body. They could certainly scale back some things like a little lower resolution displays, a little worse battery life. There's definitely room for them to put that sensor in a smaller, lighter, less expensive body, and I think they'll do that.
Look me right in the eyes and tell me that you're not having fun. Look, Jeff's got a fish.
My life.
Okay, let's talk about Leica for 2021. They've actually had a pretty big 2020. Cameras like the Q2 monochrome, the SL2S. I don't think we're going to see a lot of new cameras coming out for 2021. As much as Jordan would love to see an SL2S monochrome, I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see a lot more improvements in the video area for Leica. I think some major firmware updates, possibly like a really expensive, exciting sort of general purpose, fast, regular zoom, like a 24 to 90 f2 or something like that. Who knows? But otherwise, I think it's going to be pretty quiet. M6 cameras have actually been getting a lot of talk lately, just, you know, in popularity, kind of as a throwback. So I'm kind of hoping for a limited edition M6 looking M10. Well, we'll see if that happens. Okay, so now it's time to talk about Nikon, somebody's favorite company out here. There you go. And, hopefully we're going to see some interesting stuff from them, hey, this year.
What? So I really think Nikon's bringing out a few things this year. I think for bodies, we're gonna still see one more DSLR high-end one, like an 870, an 880, something like that. They're high-resolution DSLR with like the good live view, basically a 780, but with a higher resolution sensor. That'd be my guess. I think they're also gonna bring out a Z-mount sports body, because the 1DX, let's be honest, was pretty far beyond the D6 in most regards. I think in order to kind of make up that difference, they're going to want to bring out a really powerful Z body. And I think they're going to bring out like a crazy flagship, pay attention to the Z mount lens that's not a silly manual focus lens like the Noct, you know, something like a 100mm f1.4 or something like that. Who knows?
Okay, so that's stuff that we hopefully will see from them. I want to talk about stuff that we might never see again. I think, first off, flagship DSLRs, I think this is going to be the last of it. We're not going to see...
We said the same thing last year, but the D6 showed up.
And sadly, I think the Z50 series APS-C mirrorless camera, you know, I think they're just kind of going to let that slide under the radar and disappear quietly. That's my prediction. I don't think we're going to see any more APS-C cameras.
Well, the only lenses out there are the 3 slow zooms, nothing on the roadmap, and the Z5 is so close price-wise, like just grab a Z5. It's a better camera.
Absolutely. Ooh, just got a fish.
All right, Sigma is technically a camera manufacturer. Last year they brought out their FP, which was kind of for videographers, cinematographers. I think they're going to bring out a photo camera. The thing I'm really curious about is it going to be a Foveon sensor? I would love to see what a full-frame Foveon is capable of, especially now that they're supporting DNGs. So we'll have to see. What I know we're going to see for sure are a whole bunch of DGDN versions of their giant DSLR Art Series lenses. I'd love to see the 35mm 1.4 Chris, the 24 1.4, that whole line. I want to see small, light, super sharp versions of them. That make me very happy.
Now, of course, the big news with Olympus in 2020 is that their camera division was acquired by JIP. And, you know, my prediction for 2021 is unfortunately going to be a little bit dire. I do think JIP is going to come out with some sort of confidence-boosting piece of equipment, probably a nice optic, you know, out of the lens division, just to kind of show everybody Olympus is doing great. But I can't help but feel like we're going to see no real firmware updates coming out from them for Olympus cameras that are existing. I don't think we're going to see any new bodies. And if the history is kind of any sort of lesson in this regard, we might see the Olympus brand start to just slowly peter away. I hope I'm proven wrong. Oh, Jordan, I have won the prize. Chris, the best fisherman at catching tiny fish. Look at that.
It's a monster. Okay, let's talk about Panasonic. They've been working hard on their full-frame L-mount bodies.
Yes,
but I think
lots of
2021, they're going to come roaring back with Micro Four Thirds stuff for video people. I don't know if we're going to see a ton on photography, but I do think we're going to see the GH6 this year.
Yeah.
I am really hoping, a lot of people are saying like an 8K sensor and stuff. I would just love to see what Sony did with an A7S III, just a very high quality, super fast scanning 4K sensor. I think it would make a ton of sense. And I'd like to see a lens that complements that. They've got the 1025, my favorite Micro Four Thirds lens. I'd love to see like a 40 to 100mm f1.7 or f2 or something like that.
That would be very cool. Yeah, just a camera that brings you back to that sort of great value for dollar, able to do any kind of run and gun. That's what the GH5 did, and that's what we want to see continue.
Totally.
You know, Panasonic's pretty much the only major holdout that's still sticking with contrast detect autofocus as their main autofocusing system. And so I think the question really in 2021 is, you know, it's been hurting their business a little bit. You know, all the other companies are seeming to be pushing forwards. They can refine DFD as much as they want, but are they going to then just give in now and come out with a hybrid AF system like the other manufacturers, or are they just going to stick with DFD and try to make it work for video?
I think they're going to stick with DFD. I mean, if they were going to jump on phase, they would have already. And if they bring out a very fast scanning sensor like I'm talking about, then their DFD system should work better and better, and maybe it'll just be great video performance. Who knows about stills, but that'd be my prediction.
You know, more importantly, I think what's really going to happen, because the video game world is exploding, Panasonic's going to come back with a gaming console. I know it. That's where the money is. We all know it. Those are the new movies.
The 3DO2.
3DO2. It's time.
Still don't get the appeal.
Sony predictions for 2021, I think this is going to be a big one here. It's the A7 IV. It's about time. You know, we've done a lot of shootout videos. Nikon, of course, have their very low-cost Z5, but also the Z6, Z6 II now. Canon have their R6. I mean, these are all very powerful cameras. Sony have the A7C, but I think it's time now that we see an A7 IV, and I think they're going to be last to the table, and it's going to be a very powerful camera.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a brand new sensor in it, and most importantly, I want to see all the great interface stuff from the A7S III. 5D that we know is coming, put that in a body at that price point, it's going to be probably the biggest camera of the year, would be my guess. The other thing I think Sony might do is take a serious stab at their crop sensor cameras. I wouldn't be surprised to see a more beefy sized APS-C camera, maybe with a faster scan rate, maybe using that 26 megapixel sensor that Fuji has been using.
You mean get away from the form factor of the A6000 that's been carrying on all this time?
Hated form factor. Yeah, I think it would make a lot of sense for them.
You know what I would love to see as well, adding on to that line, a new replacement for the 16 to 50 kit lens. I think
finally.
it's time for them to come out with a new lens, better design, better optics to carry their line as an affordable kit. And the last thing I think we're going to see is new optics from Sony. I really see them kind of revamping the G Master line. Some of those lenses are actually kind of getting long in the tooth. I think we'll see new versions to improve them because they are starting to lag
Like the
behind the
2470, the 70-200, they both need an
Absolutely.
update.
And maybe even some sort of, maybe it's Sony's time to do like a really ultra bright, super crazy show off their technology to the
Just
world.
shut up all the people talking about their small lens mount, totally, like a 40 millimeter 0.8 or something silly like that. It'll be huge, impractical, expensive, but it'll prove that they can make bright lenses.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting to the end of the year, that time where we turn over a new leaf, and those are our predictions for 2021, but certainly do comment below and let us know what you guys think is going to happen with the major manufacturers coming up into 2021. Otherwise, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us this year, 2020, and we can't wait to see you guys next year.
If you want to support Chris and I, and who wouldn't, honestly,
Oh, I know.
make sure you hit that subscription button, and we'll see you guys all again in the new year.
Isn't this great, Jordan? Aren't you having a fantastic time?
Thank you.